at length yesterday. I haven't had a chance to touch base with him today, but I will.
What did you offer him?
And it's just exactly the same situation. I just tried to give him some comfort. I mean, he was really down, and I haven't just gone through it. I completely understand. I mean, he was just really angry and frustrated, but I try to tell him, you're 23 years old, and you're going to bounce back just fine from this. You just got to try to find the positives in it. You got to try to find a silver lining in it.
Do you find it kind of crazy that all these injuries are happening to the team again this year?
Well, I mean, honestly, I think injuries happen. If you look at some of the other teams around the league, they have injuries as well. I think the market that we're in gets a little bit more attention, so it's not something that we should be feeling bad for ourselves. Or, injuries are part of the game. But I think individually, for Julius and for Xavier, is to really find a silver lining in it and to be determined about their recovery process.
Do you still see the light at the end of the tunnel for this team?
Oh, sure. I mean, there's a lot of positive things that we're doing. There's little mistakes that we need to shore up and need to clean up. But we've had a handful of games here that we could have easily gone the other way and make our record look a lot different than it currently does. But we just stick with the process, man. We had a tough loss against Denver. But we'll just get right back on our horse and try to put ourselves in a position to win tomorrow. Because
you knew it was going to be a difficult process.
Yeah, I mean, it's part of growing up. We have a lot of young players, and it was our first time all of us are playing together. So there's still a lot of things to figure out. But we're not a 3-11 team, and it's just we're not. And we're doing a lot of good things. It's just a matter of putting them together down the stretch and winning some of these games.
It's almost December, Kobe. How are you feeling? Where do you want to be? Are you where you want to be right about now?
Well, no, I mean, our record is obviously not what we would have expected to be at this point in time during the year. But it is what it is, man. Like I said, there's a lot of positive that we're doing. There are things that we can draw from and improve upon, and we will.
How about you personally and physically this time of year?
I feel okay. The second half of games for me has been a struggle lately with my legs. My shots have just been really short, even though my legs feel good. So we did a little bit of talking today with Tim and, kind of changing up the strength program a little bit, working on my legs a little bit, getting them stronger. But it's a fine balance, at 36, trying to find the rhythm of strengthening your legs as the season goes on without wearing them out. I mean, we're in kind of uncharted territory in terms of trying to figure this out, but we will.
What's that balance you're trying to take with that?
Say again?
What's that balance you're trying to take with that?
Well, having legs to perform. You know what I mean? It's and you have off days, having them be off days. Like when you get off your legs and rest them completely. When you dedicate a day to just ice baths, and when you get in the weight room and lift for them.
Kobe, Nick had 2 good games. He had 2 bad games upon his return. What do you need for Nick to help this team?
Well, I mean, defense has made their adjustments. Right? They understand that he's a big threat. So they made their adjustments the last 2 games, but now we'll make ours.
Do you recall Xavier when it happened? Was it contact, non-contact? Was it?
It was just like mine. It was just like mine. It was really no different. No different. Same thing. Just try to take off, drop to the basket, and it just popped.
Did that evoke different emotions from the other injuries because it wasn't Achilles?
Yeah. I mean, I knew exactly what he was feeling. I mean, it's just kind of, took me right back to that place again, and just, just trying to keep him positive. I mean, listen, it's an uphill battle, man. It's a long hill at that. But he'll have us and he'll have me every step of the way.
You've always talked in glowing terms about Tony Allen over the years. What makes him so distinguishable compared to everyone else?
Well, he's fundamentally sound defensively, and he plays harder than everybody else defensively. He has a competitive desire to compete individually, which is very uncommon. Most defensive players I've faced just want help all the time. And I've never heard him ask for help one time. He likes taking a challenge.
How does that change just your preparation going in and just also just adjusting when you're going up against him?
Well, I mean, I know what to do when I go up against him. I've played against him for years since he was in Boston, so I know what to do. I think he knows how to guard me. It's just a matter of, who can get the better of who more consistently. I mean, there'll be possessions where he does a phenomenal job, and there'll be possessions where I abuse him. And it's a fun battle to see, and it's I enjoy it.
Big picture, what makes Memphis so good defensively as a team?
Well, they have great size, great speed. I think Conley at the point guard does a fantastic job with his speed and his length. Point guard with long arms and quick hands sets the tone defensively for them. And Mark back there, patrolling the paint is a big anchor for him.
What makes it so difficult to defend Gasol?
He's a bad boy. He's a bad boy, man. He has it all. Turnaround jump shots and jump hooks, and incredible passer. Great timing, great patience. I mean, he's just a great player.
Talking to Tony in Memphis, he said that his approach over the years has never been trash talk. It's always been about just X's and O's, being physical. When you have a guy like that who does that approach, how does that change things?
No, it doesn't change for me. I mean, I enjoy it, man. Like I said, I grew up watching, Cooper defend Bird, and all these incredible matchups where the game is very physical and defensive players got after it. And so I enjoy matching up with Tony. And honestly, I just don't see that kind of a defense of a competitor throughout the course of my career. So
yeah, that last game in Memphis last year when you injured your knee, I think you were saying at the time like that was kind of a good gauge, just how you were coming back. What did you feel about that?
Measuring stick. I mean, I was still obviously very limited, but I felt like during that game, if I could get to spots on the floor against Tony, I can do it against anybody. And after that game, during that game, I felt really good about it, about the limitations that I had and how to work my way through them.
Coach, the other night against Denver, third quarter you scored 36 points as a team, fourth quarter 11, a little Jekyll Hyde. What was the big difference?
We shot the ball like crap pretty much the entire game. I mean, times where my teammates were cold in the first quarter, I was hot, and then times where I went ice cold, they were hot, and then in the fourth quarter, everybody just went cold. But it happens. Defensively, I felt like we did a good enough job to win the game. We blew a couple rotations, myself and Wes in particular, where I didn't communicate to him on a switch and gave away an easy basket.
You held them under 38% for the game. What did you all do well defensively that you liked?
We got back in transition. We got back in transition, which has been a big weakness of ours, and we did a pretty good job on a three. Outside of a couple spurts that they had, we did a good job running them off.